Hey guys, welcome to another stamp with me. There will be stamping on this page, but first, this is a challenge for the Secret Not Secret Kit Club. And instead of explaining the challenge, I'm just gonna roll the clip because it's freaking awesome and I'm really excited about it. So here you go.
Hi, I'm SHIMELLE, and hello in there. Secret Not Secret Kit Club. I have a challenge for you, and the challenge is you must make a page or whatever kind of project you make, but you know, pages or whatever. It has to include 3 circles. 3 circles. This side has prettier nails. 3 circles. 1 big and 2 small. They can go anywhere on your page. They can go close together. They can go far apart. But that page must have 3, no more, no less, circles. 1 big and 2 small. Enjoy.
Oh, that is so freaking cool. I can't believe the SHIMELLE gave us a challenge for the Secret Not Secret Kit Club. That's really, really cool. So we're gonna jump into the process video, but I had to roll that because that is amazing. Thank you, Christina. Thank you, the Secret Not Secret Kit Club. And thank you, SHIMELLE. That is so cool. So here I'm starting. I'm just pulling in a couple green papers, a couple pink papers. I'm thinking this is going to be a green and pink layout. I definitely want to pull in some green because we're outdoors. This is, again, another layout of Billy and I cheering on my mom at one of her tennis matches. So I thought the green was very appropriate. So you can see I've already pulled in a lot of the green and pink elements. There's not really a whole lot of pink in the papers, or in the photos I should say, but I just felt like not doing monochromatic. I wanted to use this green and this pink together. I think the green and the pink in this collection look really nice together, so I thought that was a cool twist. I feel like doing an all green monochromatic layout for a tennis page was a little bit expected and would have been really, really cool. I just didn't feel like doing it. And part of that is because some of the embellishments I wanted to pull in for SHIMELLE's challenge, the little circular embellishments, are pink in this collection. So obviously I need to pull it in pink if I was going to use those. But knowing I have to pull in these 3 circles for SHIMELLE's challenge, I decided to go ahead and round my corners of my photos and my photo mats. I thought that was a really cool way to bring in that circular element because having this 12 by 12 square piece of paper and these square photos and square, layers, it can all look very boxy sometimes, which sometimes I like that look, but since we're going down this circular route for SHIMELLE's challenge, I thought adding a little bit of the rounded corners would be a really cool element. And I have to say, I love this green diagonal striped vellum paper. I think it is so pretty. It's so cool. I'm not used to using printed vellum. I usually use plain vellum, but having these colored patterned vellum to work with this month in the Jill kit are like everything to me right now. And I thought about using this background paper from the collection that is a really skinny green line. But I decided after I layered this green diagonal vellum sheet that I couldn't do both of those. There was a lot of green lines going in different directions, not to mention the line background paper can look very busy as an entire 12 by 12. So you can see I've kind of started to design this page and I decided to go in a different direction. The backgrounds of the lines were too much, so I brought in this other green paper from the collection. I love, love, love the star paper, but again, I wanted to use this green diagonal vellum and it wasn't going to work on top of that pattern paper. So I removed the background paper altogether and decided to just start working with my photos and worry about the background later. So since this is Stamp With Me, I decided to try and use my stamp pad in multiple ways. I am going to actually stamp later for the Stamp With Me challenge, but I decided to try and use an ink pad in a few different ways on this particular layout for those who are like me and are scared of stamping, but have stamp pads in your stash that get neglected. So this is a Tim Holtz Distress ink. This is in the colored Peeled Paint, which is a very pretty green and goes really, really well with the green in this collection. So I decided I would just ink the edges of my photos because I matted these photos in white, and now I am pulling in this white cardstock as my background. I didn't want you to lose the matte, especially because I went through the effort of rounding the corners. So by inking the white photo mat in this green, it gives you that definition, but brings that green a little bit more into the page as well. So I'm really enjoying that. And then by pulling in this white 12 by 12 as my background, that gives this vellum a really good base to really pop off the page so you can see the true color of that gorgeous green. So I'm going to end up using this vellum as my pattern paper for this layout, which is super nice because that means the other 12 by 12 pattern papers from this collection I can hold on to for other layouts. layouts, which means I can get more layouts out of this collection, which is the goal this month with How to Kill a Kit with Style. I want to see how much I can get out of this Felicity Jane kit. So by using white cardstock and one little sheet of vellum from the collection, that really helps me get a lot more mileage out of my supplies as well. And you can see I just glued down that vellum by using some glue tape over the colored stripes, so you can't see that through the vellum, because of course vellum is translucent and sometimes you can see the glue behind it. But thankfully this green is opaque enough to where you can't see the glue tape behind it. But as you saw, I did just have to make a little gap between the vellum because it was not 12 inches long. But I'm going to keep the staggered photo design that I had originally with this page, so that covers up that gap quite nicely. And I also like how offsetting these photos really emphasize those rounded corners. You can really see them when they're staggered like that, so excited about that. Here I'm just measuring this branding strip. I wanted something to border the vellum before it goes to this white cardstock, so I was thinking about using this green heart branding strip. So just trying to measure how long it would stretch if I were to use that and have to cut it into 4 pieces to layer top and bottom of this vellum strip. It was just a little short. I could have made it work by layering something over a gap somewhere, but in the end I go in a different direction. But for right now I'm going to pull in a few of the things I had initially started pulling in for this layout. So I'm bringing in these layered little labels. There's one of my little circular elements for SHIMELLE's challenge. That's a little chipboard piece that says goals. I thought that was super cute. So I know there's 2 little circular embellishments that come in this collection that I figured would be my 2 small circles for SHIMELLE's challenge. So you'll see off to the side there's another little pink circle that says Go Girl, which I thought was appropriate because they're cheering on my mom. So I still need to pull in 1 bigger circular element, so you'll see that later down the line. But for right now I'm just trying to compose my little embellishment clusters. I liked what I started to do in the beginning of this page before I had a little got distracted with figuring out how the background was going to work with the vellum. So I'm layering up a pink pocket card, a big green label, that cute little pink tag, and I'm also pulling in a couple of these little acetate stars. And here you can see I'm pulling in my ink pad again. So I'm using this Distress Oxide as watercolor now, so you can see me stamping a little bit of that pigment on my acrylic block and mixing in some water. And I'm just going to use this water pen to splatter this color across the page on the diagonal. So this is a really great way to also use your stamp pads. So I've used it twice now, once to ink the edges of my photo, and now I'm going to splatter along the diagonal. I thought there was too much white on this page. There's still a lot of white by the end, but this definitely helps. So I'm just going to do a bunch of splatter on the diagonal, and I really, really love that. And it's nice because it automatically matches the inking around my photos, because obviously that's the same ink. And then when I go to stamp, I'm also going to use the stamp pad, so then my stamping automatically matches. So the whole page ties together, and I got an ink pad used up 3 ways, which is super exciting. But I definitely wanted to pull in these acetate stars. One of the things I had a problem with SHIMELLE's challenge was not using more than 3. Because I was trying to think about all the things that count as circles, because Nuvo drops and enamel dots can count as circles, doilies can count as circles, so I was a little bit stuck. But I did ask the group, I was like, what all consist of a circle? Are Nuvo drops and doilies and enamel dots all circles? And the answer I got was yes. So that kind of stumped me. That means I can't use my Nuvo drops or enamel drops, so using these acetate stars in that manner helped me with my embellishment. And then you can see I just pulled in a large doily. That's going to be, I guess it's a normal size doily, but that's going to be my large circle for SHIMELLE's challenge. So that's my big circle, and then the 2 small embellishment pieces will be my 2 small circles. So that's SHIMELLE's challenge done. I kind of wish that doilies didn't count, so I could have used a circle somewhere else, but she said no more than 3, so I'm taking it as gospel, and we're not doing more than 3 circles. But I'm just going to get these little layered labels down. There's one of the circular pieces right there. I thought of moving the tag up there, but yeah, I liked it better on the big label on the bottom, so I'm going to end up moving that back down. I don't know where I went right now. Pulling in this acetate stars again. These move around a little bit, but once I move that little tiny pink tag down to the bottom label, I end up putting 2 stars down there, and then I have my 2 small circular elements at the top with 1 star, so I really like that. There we go. So there's the 2 circular pieces, and then now I have my stars scattered in each collection. I also like that that also draws your eye across the diagonal, so that makes me happy. I'm looking at a few of the other die cut pieces I have. I really want to use this pink scallop. I think it is so cute, but it's just not going to work on this page. It's just, I tried a couple times and it just distracted me from the design I was going for. But that goals is a chipboard, but this Hey Girl circle is just a flat little die cut. So I did just pop it up on some foam so it would have dimension like the chipboard. So that's what I was doing just then. And then now I'm just gluing down a couple of these layers. I don't think I've stuck down this doily or this pocket card yet. I'm trying really hard to use my pocket cards this month too, because you guys know I had a ton of pocket cards left over from the Harper collection. So I'm really trying to make an effort to use them this month. I don't want a whole bunch of pocket cards left over in the end. But now I'm just going to thread this tiny little tag with some embroidery floss. I'm just using some white embroidery floss because I don't want that tag to be twineless. So I'm just going to tie that and snip it. So it's a cute little mini tag. And yeah, that's going to go on the bottom. I like how that looks a lot better. There we go. And I think I'm just using some clear glue for these little acetate bits. But I might go back and pop them off and go back with some actual like double-sided adhesive tape, because on one of my other layouts, one of the acetate pieces popped off with the clear glue. It's like once it dried, the plastic just popped right off of it again. So I'm gonna go back, I think, with some glue tape to re-glue down those stars. None of them have fallen off on this page yet, but just I don't want them to fall off down the line. But now I'm going in with my title. I wanted a little something to the left of that photo just because there's that gap where the photos are staggered. So I'm just going to title it. I wanted it to be something along the lines of us cheering on my mom. So I knew it was going to be something mom, like go mom, woo mom, something. But I had an issue where I only have one G left. So I really wanted to do go mom. But I don't want to use my last G yet. We're kind of still early-ish in the month. I mean, not really, but I'm still planning on getting a lot more out of this alpha set, and I don't want to use all the G's yet. I find I use G's a lot. So I decided to think of another word to use. I don't know what I was going to put there. I put an H down, but I changed my mind. I ended up just going with woo mom just because I feel like that's a nice little cheering sentiment. They give you plenty of O's, so I figured I was okay using some O's and a W and, you know, a couple M's. So there I'm trying again with that scallop. It is super cute, but I didn't want to use it for whatever reason. But here I am going in with my stamping finally. Because I'm going with this whole star theme instead of circles, since I already have my 3 circles for SHIMELLE's challenge, I pulled in this teeny tiny little star stamp, and I'm just going in with the same ink I used for inking my edges and the splatter, and I'm sprinkling amongst the splatter with a whole bunch of these little stars, and I think that looks so cute. I think it's a really simple technique to get some stamping on a page that didn't seem scary. One, because I had already splattered, so it's not like I'm going to stamp on a completely clean surface. There's already some ink on there. But something as small as this that I'm just dotting around the page seemed really safe to me, especially because I'm still not quite comfortable stamping. So I really like how that turned out. I think it's really nice using that with the splatter too. But here are the close-ups. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, SHIMELLE. Thank you, Stamp With Me. I will link everyone else who is using stamping for Stamp With Me to get some ideas and inspiration below so you can jump through all their videos. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.